Welcome back. The JSE index and rand will be hoping for steady trade at the start of this week. Local markets closed in the green on Friday, upbeat by gains in packaging and food companies. Let's get you some analysis now. FNB's Wealth and Investments Portfolio Manager Wayne McCurrie joins us now live. Wayne, it's always great to talk to you. Thanks for coming on. And we're going to talk copper for the next couple of questions. It's near the $10,000 mark, climbing by 1% to reach $9,970 a ton. Talk us through those moves.
Well, look, I suppose copper's just discounting the future, and when interest rates are cut worldwide, we should see some sort of growth in the world's economy, which should lead to more demand for copper. And of course, it's also been boosted quite a bit by the Chinese economic data that came out last week, showing that their GDP was actually higher than expected. So it's really the price is running on the prospects of better economic growth going forward on the back of lower interest rates.
Well, shares in copper developer Orion Minerals also soared today after the group reported that feedback from drilling at one point of the OKIP copper project yielded high-grade copper intercept. And that's obviously adding to what you're saying.
Correct. Look, I mean, they did announce last week that they found a major a prospecting claim on their land, and they actually stopped trade on the shares until they could release their statement today. And obviously they released the statement, the shares up 30+%, but it's a very small company, this, and unfortunately, you know, copper in the ground is not money in the bank yet. So it'll probably be quite volatile going forward. But it certainly is a major announcement on their behalf. When you've got to be a fully qualified geologist to understand what they're actually telling you, and it's a very, very long release from them. But the gist is they found what they say is an incredibly rich deposit.
Interesting. Wayne, Telkom shareholders will soon vote on a plan to sell the group's towers to a consortium led by private equity firm Actis. What do we know about that sale?
Well, look, Telkom needs the money. They've got to raise cash to essentially fund their mobile business, and of course money for other things, but it's mainly capital expenditure on the mobile side. Now, they've been talking about selling these towers for a very, very long time. They made the announcement probably 3 weeks ago that the deal is on, and it's very typical private equity transaction. The private equity companies will be buying this at what I think is a very good price for the private equity companies, and the guaranteed income because Telkom's going to pay them to use their own masts. So Telkom is essentially factoring an asset to raise cash.
And then NUMSA, Wayne, is locked in wage talks with employers in the bargaining council. The union is demanding above inflation increases. Just based on what we've seen from other miners so far, what's the likelihood of that kind of demand?
Well, look, there are actually two mining industries in South Africa at the moment. There's the gold industry, which is very, very small, but they're making super profits. They really are making profits and getting very positive cash flow. Then there's the rest of the industry, which is in the doldrums, with very negative cash flows and very poor profitability. So NUMSA, you know, it's always the stance to ask for above inflation increases. But I think it's highly unlikely that the mining industry as a whole will agree with it in this set of circumstances. We're going through a commodity down cycle. Unfortunately, life is tough. Many mining companies have seen their profits essentially disappear. Yeah, absolutely. Tesla and Elon Musk never far from the headlines. What do you make of this? Is Tesla actually not succeeding, Wayne? They cut the prices in a number of its major markets, China, Germany, for example, and that's following price cuts in the US. It's obviously still grappling with falling sales and that intensifying price war for electric vehicles. Correct. Tesla's in a very difficult position. You know, 3 years ago, there was no one else. They could almost charge what they wanted to. But every major motor manufacturer and other manufacturers, not even the big ones, are all coming out with electric cars. So there's intense competition in this market now. Secondly, battery electric seems to be not that favored anymore compared to a while back. It seems now to be hybrid. hybrid electric drive that seems to be the more favorable. So Tesla, and you can see it in the Tesla share price, which has come under quite a bit of pressure over the last while. You know, you've got competition in battery electric, you've got competition from hybrid, internal combustion electric. It's tough out there. They're cutting their workforce by, I think, 10% to try and get some more profitability into the company, and now they're cutting prices to maintain volume. So it's a very, very difficult environment, completely different to what prevailed, even as soon as 2 years ago for Tesla.
Yeah, absolutely. Wayne McCurrie, let me thank you for your time this afternoon, talking us through a whole range of market-related issues.